From unsolved mysteries to unexplained phenomena, from comedy gold to relationship fails, Amazon Music's got the most ad-free top podcasts, included with Prime. Because the only thing that should interrupt your listening is, well, nothing. Download the Amazon Music app today.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Styles McKenzie helping you make those rooms sing. Today's style tip. When it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild, like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Arr, fierce. This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Can you dig it, sucker?
Live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. Join the 6-time World Heavyweight Champion, 2-time WWE Hall of Famer, and WWE NXT announcer, Booker T. Booker T. Alongside his right-hand man, the BOAT, Brad Gilmore, as they discuss everything from inside the ring to the backstage and beyond. It's time to get your champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. Now, can you dig that?
Oh yeah, welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. As always, we get ready to do this thing. Want to thank the people because this show is all about the people. Want to thank you guys for stepping inside, getting your champagne wishes and caviar dreams, baby. Oh yeah, man. I'm getting ready for the NXT, man. I'm getting ready for NXT. I'm just getting my voice. I've been doing my me's. You know what I mean? You know, I've been doing all of that, voice exercises, trying to get ready. So I just want to make sure I open this show off proper, something proper like. But how you doing, man? How you feel?
Yo, I'm doing good, Book. I'm doing good, BT. You know, I like that you're warming up your voice, and I like that you're getting ready to go out there and just do a terrible job. You know, like the people say that you do. You're just, I'm excited about it. So I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
At least 500 people. Let's just say
at least 500 people think that you're not good at it. And I've been waiting to talk to you about this whole thing, and I feel like we can't even delay it. We can't even delay the point. So can we get into this?
Yeah, heck yeah.
So the thing that Booker and I are referencing is there's this little, what would you call it? A rag mag. The People magazine of pro wrestling.
Dirt sheet. It's called.
Dirt sheet. Yeah, emphasis on the dirt.
That's what it was called back in the day anyway, you know.
It's called the Wrestling Observer. You know, they've been doing a terrible job for years. And one guy named Dave Meltzer, no matter how much he works out in the gym, he hasn't been able to work out his mind because he continues to say asinine things and make exclamatory statements that are proven to be wrong time after time. I mean, this is a guy who a couple years ago said that the Triple H and The Rock were getting ready to have a WrestleMania main event match, you know, and he was referencing a video from 6 years before that somebody tweeted him. He said that a show was going to be in Japan. Anyway, I'm belaboring the point. The point is the Wrestling Observer Awards came out, and the worst commentator, the top 5 was Pat McAfee, it was Michael Cole, it was Vic Joseph, and Booker T was at the top of the list as the worst commentator in pro wrestling. I saw this and immediately go, well, these guys don't get it. But what was your initial reaction?
You know, before we even speak on myself, all right, we got a lot to talk about here. Before we even talk about me, let's talk about one name. In my humble opinion, Big Joseph. There's no way Big Joseph should be on any list like that whatsoever. I don't get that at all. I mean, of course, Michael Cole, you could put Michael Cole on the list because he's been around for 30 years. Okay.
Sure.
You know, he's a guy that's, he can get repetitive because he's been saying it for many, many years, but that's no slight on him as far as doing his job. He's the best in the business as far as being able to control that situation. And most people don't have an inkling of an idea what being in that situation is really all about on live TV, having to, steer traffic, have to do, like with Vic Joseph, he do all the reads. You know what I mean? He does a lot of the play-by-play as far as replays and stuff like that. Man, it's a hell of a job, and for a award like this to even be out there, it's asinine. Because there again, Dave Meltzer or anyone at the Wrestling Observer knows what it takes as far as what that job entails. Or wrestling or anything else be that made. I mean, but he somehow finagled his way into being, called a wrestling, aficionado, a wrestling historian, whatever, and no dig on that or anything like that. But something like this is redundant. It makes no sense. It really does. And me personally, I don't take a knock to it. That's just Dave Meltzer taking a shot at me, probably because of what happened on the Jericho Cruise. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't know that story. I cornered, Dave Meltzer, and I told him I would rip his ears right off of his body. That's what I said. You know what I mean? And Dave Meltzer was quite frightened. And I'm sure if Dave Meltzer was to see me in anywhere public, he's gonna walk totally around, my surroundings. You know what I mean? Because he's the guy that I wouldn't even say I hate him. You know what I mean? Because hate is a really, really dark, evil, nasty word, and I don't really want to go there as far as saying I hate a person or anything like that. But Dave Meltzer is literally a scoundrel of an individual. He really is. He's a guy that's really sucking the life out of this business. You know what I mean? I don't know if you saw the list of names that won awards. You know what I mean? And everybody, all awards was at AEW. It makes no sense. You know what I mean? And the thing is, I get it. That might be saying, well, WWE has their Hall of Fame and they get a chance to put whoever they want in their Hall of Fame. I get it, but they're supposed to be an independent journalist. Okay, that's where the line is drawn with something like this. You know what I mean? So for me, it doesn't bother me at all. But I do appreciate, people coming to my defense, and really shining light on what I do. I remember being a young wrestler and being in the ring, and the commentators wasn't really, getting this match over properly. I remember that. I know what wrestling is, also opposed to a lot of people that have never done this. I know one of my favorite announcers was Joey Styles. Joey Styles brought so much flavor. He brought so much flavor to commentating. He made it so fun to watch if you was a fan watching it, a real true fan, not somebody that's just. And I hate this leaning to the left and leaning to the right term because that's political. And I'm never going to want to take wrestling down that rabbit hole of being political. I'm not going to take it there. I'm just not. Just because so many people around the world love professional wrestling. Professional wrestling is a universal language. It truly, really is. You know what I mean? So for me to get down into the mud, with someone like a Wrestling Observer is useless. It really is. It's useless. You know what I mean? But I think the people that have careers that have been launched just because, me putting a spotlight on them. I think they know. I think all the people know that I've trained with as far as, what I'm talking to them about, as far as what is it going to take for them to get to the next level. You need to have a championship name, okay? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm just being real here. So for me, I don't take a knock. It's not a knock at all.
Well, first off, I know you got a greater purpose than a hater purpose, to quote J. Cole. But man, is that Dave Meltzer and the people who work with him and read him they're AEW sycophants. They're anti-WWE on pretty much everything.
You know what? Let's not blame. You know what? Brad, and I feel you. I know you got vitriol right now. You got the venom running. But I don't, and I hope this quote get picked up out there. I don't blame the students. I blame the teachers. I never blame the students. And Meltzer got a lot of people that's following him, that's listening to him. You know what I mean? And when you got people listening, you know what I mean, they're willing to, agree, more than likely to disagree. You know what I mean? So for me, I understand. But hopefully, the people that's listening to me right now is going to, maybe wake up a little bit and go, man, what the hell was I thinking about professional wrestling? You know what I mean? When you take the fun out of professional wrestling, we've lost it. All right. We really, truly have. If we take the fun out of professional wrestling. So for me, I don't give a damn what people say. I was supposed to have had this job for 3 months. Okay. It's going on 5 years now. So I must be doing something right, and I'm gonna just keep having fun until they tell me, "Hey, Book, it's time for you to go." That's what I'm gonna do. All right, and let's see how many other stars become superstars in the meantime. That's the way we'll rank this system. How about let's do it that way. All right. And I know we got to take a break because we inside the Hall of Fame. I'm a professional wrestler. All right, and I don't even have a clock right now, and I know we had 10 minutes. All right, you're inside the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
All right, guys. Brad Gilmore here from the Hall of Fame, here to keep it 100. Some men walk into a room like regular dudes, but when you've got Blue Chew in your corner, you walk in like it's a main event. I'm talking pyro, lights, smoke machines, a Titantron package, and your theme music blasting. Because Blue Chew just isn't a tablet, it's a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting. Like somebody handed your downstairs a gym membership, a hype man, and a Hall of Fame ring all in one.
And let me tell you something right now, man. This ain't just about sex. This is about legacy. This is about making sure your third legacy gets remembered. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex, shipped straight to your door, man, in a discreet package. You don't need to go to the doctor's office, man. You don't need to stand in line at a pharmacy. Just come ready to go.
Look, last time I tried one of Blue Chew's tablets, my hog got so confident it demanded its own Instagram account. It told me missionary was off-brand and it was only doing extreme positions. I tried Blue Chew and suddenly my hog had a zip code, a driver's license, and voting rights. That's not just performance, that's a lifestyle.
Dog, for me, it felt like my parents were cutting promos on me, saying, "We can't hold this man anymore. Somebody call security." It was like my entire lower half turned into a tag team championship, man. And my brother, sometimes it's not even about the action. It's about walking into the room knowing you're holding a steel chair under the table, man, ready to go whenever the bell rings.
Look, this just isn't a supplement. It's an erection resurrection. And the truth is, it's not about what happens in the bedroom. It's about knowing that you're that guy. You want to give her group chat something to talk about? You want to hear your name come up at brunch? Lay it down with Blue Chew's help. And believe me, they'll be talking about how it gets up.
And that's real talk, guys. You only get one career, one championship run, and one chance to etch your name in the history books. Don't leave your legacy to chance. Step into the ring with Blue Chew and become a legend.
And we've got a special deal for our listeners. As always, you get your first month of Blue Chew free. Just use promo code BOOKER at checkout and pay $5 for shipping. That's it. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Use promo code BOOKER, BOOKER, and head to BlueChew.com for details and safety information.
I want to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. Now, can you dig that?
sucker. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Brad Gilmore from the Hall of Fame. We're going to take a quick time out because I got to tell y'all about something I've been rocking lately. If you've watched the show, you've seen me at events, you've probably noticed. Yeah, the chain game, it's upgraded just a little bit. All right, I've had my chaining day, and I'm talking about my guys over at GLD. That's GLD, letter by letter. And look, I'm not really a special occasions only jewelry guy. If I'm wearing something, it's got to be every day. It's got to be durable. It's got to be clean. It's got to be something I can throw on with a t-shirt, a blazer, or even a suit, and it just works so nicely. So feel this. Nice weight, stone set clean, clasp solid. Doesn't feel cheap. It feels legit, all right? That's what we're looking for, and that's what GLD is all about. That's why I like them. These aren't pieces you baby. They're waterproof, sweatproof, built to last, and every piece is guaranteed for life. So once it's on, it's basically part of your uniform. They've got everything, too. Chains, pendants, bracelets, watches, plus official NFL and NBA collabs, so you can rep your team. If you want to flex a little hometown pride, I'm hardly home, but always repping the H. You already know I'm thinking about them Texans and those Rockets pieces. And it's not just about hype. Millions and millions of customers, thousands of five-star reviews, and you see everybody from athletes to artists rocking that GLD. So if you ever felt like your fit was missing something and you want to upgrade it, this is the time. This is the upgrade. Work hard and change the game. Oh, yeah. Because right now, new customers get 50% off when you use code BOOKER at GLD.com. That's 50% off with code BOOKER at GLD.com. After you order, they'll ask where you heard about them, so make sure you tell them that the Hall of Fame sent you. That is GLD.com, promo code BOOKER. GLD.com, promo code BOOKER. Do it now. I do it for you. Now back to the show.
Oh, welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, baby. We just chopping it up as far as me being the worst commentating announcer of 2025. I think that award was created just for me, right? Like literally, I don't remember this award before I came along. Seriously, I really don't. But I want to thank guys like Sam Roberts for coming out to my defense. Guys like Coach Jonathan Coachman, MJF, AEW World Champion, came to my defense, and what he said was quite profound, because it's kind of true. One thing about this business, I always talk about, if you're really, really good, like a MJF, like a Booker T, your name will get there way before you do. You know what I mean? They'll be talking about you. The locker room will be buzzing, and whatnot. And for him to say, I'm the blueprint of him, which is true. When MJF show up, he's going to be MJF. It's going to be Maxwell Jacob Friedman. When he shows up, his resume is going to speak for itself. He's not going to be one of the guys who have to dress in the locker room with all the other guys. It's just that simple. If you don't want to, I was one of the guys who I wanted to dress with the boys. But I appreciate young talent out there that understand what a real G like myself is doing, because I always, you've heard me say, man, I can only imagine a young tennis player saying, man, to hell with Roger Federer. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. You know what I mean? Serena Williams, what the hell has she ever done? I can't imagine. Me personally, I can't imagine that. I want to soak up that wealth of knowledge so bad. But for me, hearing a young guy like MJF say that, it speaks volume as far as what the young man's mind is as far as this business goes.
Yeah, MJF, for people who didn't know, he sent out a tweet last night saying, Booker T in a lot of ways is a blueprint to me, a completely homegrown top guy with massive drawing power on Warner TV without having worked for McMahon. If you dislike what he does in the booth, that's fine, but you guys talk crazy on Legends. Show some respect. He's earned it. That was exactly what MJF said.
No, but the thing is, the wrestling fan these days have been taught to disrespect, the legend who have done nothing to them. That's the thing. That's what's really, really crazy. Because for me, I know I try to produce as much as I possibly can. You don't have to like me. I may not be your favorite. And the thing is, I get that. I understand that. I've been a professional wrestler my whole life. I always tell the story about, me being a babyface and Sting being a babyface. And every time I wrestled Sting, I was a heel. Yeah, it was just, I wasn't necessarily a heel, but I knew Sting perhaps was going to have a lot more fanfare than I did.
Sure.
And that's just the way it was. That's why I always say, if you ain't in the main event, you want to be around the guy that's in the main event. So for me, I wanted to be around Sting, whether it was from a heel perspective or from a babyface perspective. I don't know if people remember, I actually played Sting, put the paint on it, and I called myself Stain.
I do remember it. I don't remember being called Stang, but that's really funny.
That's pretty good, huh?
That's pretty good. What did when you appeared as Stang, what did Meltzer give it as a star rating?
I don't know, man. You know what? What's crazy is Meltzer didn't always have this I don't know what I don't know what to call it. He never really had it out for me or anything like that. Meltzer actually was one of the guys who put me over as a young wrestler coming up. He talked about how talented I was. He actually talked on, I think, one of the Dark Side of the Ring episodes, the one where I won the title, and he said, wrestling hadn't been, good to black talent, and I was one of the guys who had, a lot of talent and who just was, looking at, so he said good things about me in the past. I don't, like I say, maybe this is just the way he really feels, or, maybe his network of people in their award, rankings, whatnot. Maybe that's what they feel about me, but I get it. I'm not your cup of tea. All right. I'm not your cup of tea. I'm not the guy that's normally in the booth. Okay. And I don't want to call it a race card or anything like that, but there aren't that many black commentators. There aren't too many people that talk like me, as far as, I do talk street a lot, I do bring that street knowledge to the booth, and I can't talk like, Big Joseph or Michael Cole, none of these guys, I can't do it. I'm just me. And if you like it, you like it. And the thing is, a lot of people like it. Okay, I can tell you that right now. A lot of people, it's like gumbo. You know what I mean? Somebody like Meltzer, he's probably never had a bowl of gumbo in his life.
Okay? He don't know nothing about the roux. He didn't know about the roux.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And if he have had it, it was chicken gumbo. You feel what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? So I understand some people's, tastes. So it's don't think I don't understand people. Don't think I don't understand.
But let me get this straight. Like Dave Meltzer, right? The high priest of star ratings, a man who has turned into guessing wrestling finishes into his empire, his media empire, running the People's Magazine of Pro Wrestling, says that you're the worst commentator of this year, the worst wrestling announcer. Booker T, Hall of Famer, reality wrestling founder, one of the most naturally entertaining voices the business has ever produced. I don't understand. Dave Meltzer, he might know a wrist watch from a wrist lock, but understanding what makes wrestling fun is a whole different skill set. Because Booker, you don't sound like the Wrestling Observer newsletter. You sound like you react, you laugh, you get loud, you say wild stuff sometimes, like actual human beings do when they're watching a fight. Not everything has to sound like it's a peer-reviewed essay before it makes the air. And the other thing is, having the worst wrestler or worst announcer category, to me, that's a real problem. Because pro wrestling isn't supposed to be about tearing the business down for sport. It's about celebrating the people who make it work. That's what an award's for, celebrating greatness. So you want to critique, that's fine. You want to analyze, go right ahead. But handing out awards for the worst this and the worst that, it doesn't make you feel insightful or smarter or coming from an elevated position. It makes you sound like a snarky piece of crap in the cheap seats throwing popcorn at the ring. The business is about passion, Book. It's about personalities. It's about moments to make you laugh and jump off the couch. That's what gaging does for me. And that does it for a lot of people.
You 100% right. I know we're coming up on a break in a couple of minutes, but it's just like people jumping all over Ava last week. I want to touch on that for a second. Ava left WWE. She left NXT, left her responsibilities as NXT's general manager. And then I see people, old heads too, like a Steve. I'm gonna call their names too, like a Stevie Richards, and his partner James. It was really, and I know Stevie Richards tried to do his best as far as cover for James, release of knowledge about how this thing goes. But the thing is, Ava, she did get her job because of her dad. All right, but I watched Ava when she first started that job, and she wasn't that good. I can attest to that. But I watched Ava grow in that job, and I saw her get so much better at what she was doing. And the thing is, people want to just knock on how bad she was, but not give her credit for how much better she had gotten. I think that's what this business is about growing. And I can only imagine if one of these guys who was speaking on Ava, Dutch Mantel and the rest of them, I can only imagine if your kid was in the business and they was getting the same gripe that someone like Ava was getting, when she was only doing a job and hopefully having fun doing that job. But to hear grown ass men tear these young people down like that, it's beyond me. It really truly is. And they truly need to check themselves, because like I say, I can only imagine if you had a kid that was striving to perhaps get in this business. Think about your own careers, more importantly, and how hard it was to make it to the freaking next level. Do that for me for a second, all right? Opposed to trying to sit here and critique and knock someone who's just trying to, have some fun and do a job and, perhaps, leave a legacy. If not, I always say the journey is the most important thing. And it makes me hot when I hear these old heads that know better, know how hard it is in this freaking business. And then, like I say, to knock her just because her dad is who he is. It's freaking ridiculous. And I'm not defending her because of any other reason other than she's a young person. I see so many young people in this business, and these old guys trying to knock them and tear them down. I'm not going to be the one to knock and tear. You're not going to hear Booker T knock and tear down any young talent trying to get in this business, no matter where they are on the skill level. I'm going to say, hey, come to Reality of Wrestling and let's try to make you better. That's what I'm going to say. All right, guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Can you dig it? Houston, get ready to rumble with the Hall of Fame on ESPN Radio.
That's right, Booker. We're bringing the heat Tuesday through Friday right here on the Houston airwaves on 97.5 and 92.5.
We've got the exclusive scoop on wrestling, boxing, and everything in between.
Join us for the smackdown of sports talk and don't miss a moment of the action.
The Hall of Fame. Now, can you dig that? Sucker! Let me ask you something, Brad. What's one money lesson you wish you learned way earlier in life?
Oh, man, BT, I wish I learned about budgeting. No questions. Just understanding where your money goes before it disappears. And now, if you've got kids or teenagers, you're trying to pass those lessons down while juggling everything else.
Exactly. Parenting already comes with a million moving parts. The last thing you want is money stress adding to that chaos.
And that's where Cash App comes in, especially for parents with teens.
For all the parents out there with teenagers, we know you're already trying to keep a million different things under control. Cash App is here to help you make sure your teens' money and their spending isn't adding to that craziness.
Cash App is designed to meet teens aged 13 to 17 where they are with intuitive educational tools. Available through sponsorship by an eligible parent or guardian, teens can gain access to a personalized Cash App card that comes in different colors and patterns to fit their style, and the ability to instantly access money from their family and friends. Cash App makes managing money feel easier and honestly just cooler than the other options out there.
The platform also has tools that can help develop real-world financial habits in a space that's safe and easy to navigate, all with your oversight and approval.
If your teen is getting their first job, Cash App can give them access to their paychecks up to 2 weeks early and can help them achieve personalized saving goals that they can set themselves all within the app. With Cash App, these tools become something they'll actually want to use because they were designed with them in mind.
Finally, no one wants unnecessary surprises. With Cash App, there are no monthly fees, no minimum balance required, and no hidden charges when sending or receiving money.
With the Cash App card, you and your teen's balances receive 24/7 fraud monitoring. If there's ever something that feels off, you have the ability to lock their card right from your phone in just one tap.
Skip the stress and give your teen a way to learn financial responsibility with no hidden fees. Download Cash App and get started today.
For a limited time, new Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use code FAMILY10 in their profile at sign up and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms apply.
Cash App is a financial service platform, not a bank. Banking service provided by Cash App's banking partners.
Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC.
Direct deposit promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand.
Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosure.
Oh yeah, new year, new me. That's what everybody says when January hits, right? New habits, new goals, leaving some things back in last year where they belong.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Book. You can clean out your phone, your closet, your calendar, and you start thinking, all right, what's actually making the cut into the new year?
And look, there's one thing I'm definitely bringing with me into 2026. Mando whole body deodorant.
Oh, same here. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. Mando has become a part of my daily routine. It's one of those things you didn't realize you need until you have it.
You know what I love about Mando is the confidence. Straight up, you don't have to think about it. You just know you're covered.
Exactly. Mando is a whole body deodorant. Safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, balls, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, feet, all of it, BT.
And it was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal body odor was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. So this stuff is actually designed to handle the problem.
It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours, which is wild.
Now, personally, I like the solid deodorant stick. It's powered by mandelic acid and stops odor before it starts.
I'm a fan of the spray, especially for those hard to reach spots. You know what I'm talking about, BT? Aluminum free, easy, and no mess.
And all Mando products are baking soda free and paraben free. Oh, yes.
Plus the scents, you got bourbon leather. You got Clover Woods. You got Mount Fuji Pro Sport. Clean, fresh, and not overpowered.
You know, some men try to mask body odor with scent. You know, the cologne stuff.
Yeah, but Mando men, they get the job done right. They don't mask it, they Mando it.
You know, you can find Mando now in Walmart, Target, and other retailers nationwide. Or for the best deals,
you head over to shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. For a limited time, new customers get 20% off site-wide plus free shipping when you use our code BOOKER.
That's 20% off site-wide and free shipping with the code BOOKER at shopmando.com.
Seriously, support the show and let them know that we sent you over there.
Go to shopmando.com, use the code Booker, gets 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. Oh, yes.
Mando's got you covered. Deodorant plus sweat control so you can say goodbye to sweat stains and say hello to long-lasting freshness. Look, guys, last December I turned 33, and you know what nobody warned you about when you hit your 30s? It's not big stuff. It's not the random stuff. Like suddenly your energy's gone at 2 in the afternoon. You're still doing the same workouts, you got the same diets, but the results aren't the same. And mentally, some days you feel locked in, and other days you feel like you're wading through the mud. I started thinking, something's off here. So naturally, I did what every rational adult does. I went down the internet rabbit hole at 1 a.m., diagnosing myself like a lunatic, and one thing kept popping up: low testosterone. Now, I looked into TRT, and look, I'm not knocking anybody who goes that route. But when I started reading about the weekly shots, the long-term dependency, and the cost, I thought, man, I'd rather try something that works with my body first before I jump into something that replaces it. And that's when I found Mars Men. I'll show you this real quick. All right, let me lay it down. What I like about Mars Men is it's designed to help your body support healthy testosterone levels naturally. No needles, no synthetics, none of that. Just like ingredients like Tongkat Ali and zinc and boron, things meant to support energy, strength, stamina, recovery, the stuff we actually need to have to feel right day to day. For me, the difference has been something crazy. It's not like an overnight jolt, it's consistency. More steady energy throughout the day, better focus when I'm working. The workouts, they feel stronger again. I don't feel like I'm hitting a wall halfway through the afternoon. It's like instead of spikes and crashes, I just feel dialed in all the time. And honestly, going into this year, I wanted to feel better in 2026 than I did the last couple of years, and this has been a part of that reset for me. Marsmen is made in the US, third-party tested, and they've got a 90-day money-back guarantee. So if it's not for you, you're not stuck with it. For a limited time, our listeners get 50% off for life, plus free shipping and 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. It's a perfect way to kick off this new year strong. That's mengotomars.com for 50% off and 3 free gifts when you check out. After your time of purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them, and please let them know that the Hall of Fame sent you. All right, that is mengotomars.com for 50% off and 3 free gifts. Do it. Do it now.
Woo! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, baby. I'm a little hot. Everybody do it. Everybody know when Booker T get hot. I'm hot. I'm a little hot. You know what I mean? Because I'm just real. I'm just real as it can possibly can be. Um, I going back, to what I was just talking about. I was least likely to succeed in this lifetime. Okay, I think so anyway. And I just remember being a kid, and I remember being on the track team, and we were running hurdles at this track meet, and the coach put this kid in, and I knew I could have ran a better time than that kid was going to run. I just knew it. And the coach didn't put me in, and it ended up kind of like making me feel a certain way. I end up quitting track, but I do remember just being a kid, and I never was asked, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? I remember that kind of stuff. I do remember being that kid that just wanted a pat on the back and say, "Man, you can do this, man. You can get this. Hey, I got you." The Man on Fire, with Denzel Washington and Peter and the little girl. All she needed was someone to push her in that swim meet, and she went out there and freaking, one of the best times she jumped up. Hey, it's so many kids, so many young people out there that need that, and these days there's a lot of young people in this business, I think, need that too, opposed to being poured out and critiqued to the point to where they got to listen to it on a regular basis as it is, and then to listen to someone who perhaps they looked up to, perhaps once upon a time, break them down like that. I just don't think it's right.
I just think it's whack to begin with, especially any criticism on Ava for getting into the business because of her father is just not founded on, like, I don't know. It's, think about Dominic Mysterio. Would Dominic gotten signed or gotten a look if he wasn't Ray's son, right? Like, would Cody have gotten a developmental deal if he wasn't Dusty's kid? Like, if you want to play that game, you could play that game. And those two guys are at the top of their industry right now on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. Like, those are the guys. So to me, for Ava, I think what she did in the general manager role was phenomenal. I thought she did a really good job, and she grew into that role, and she facilitated what was needed of her. They passed her the ball, and she was able to score with it in the GM role. So anybody critiquing her because she got in because she's The Rock's daughter, well, yeah, guess what? Has anyone ever heard the phrase, it's not what you know, it's who you know? Right? Like, that's how you get in the door. That's just the reality of life. And you know what? Maybe there's some, I don't know if it's professional jealousy because they think, oh, I had to work so much harder to get into the spot. I didn't have a family member or a friend in high places that got me a look. Well, that's just your path. But let's not crap on somebody else's path just because it's different from yours. And as far as, like, bro, I don't know. See, that's my other thing is I feel like if you want to give constructive feedback is necessary in any industry. We need it, especially from the veterans, from the OGs. And I know that your career got better from guys giving you feedback and advice, and same for me. But just to dog on somebody just to get some clicks or some views on your podcast or make it seem like you know more than the next man, I'm not into that. And that's what really goes back to Meltzer. It's like even saying the worst of this or the worst of that. Like, who does that serve? What does that do? What does that do? That does nothing for anybody. Right? All it is more noise and more chaos. And you could choose peace or you could choose chaos in this life. And people who down others for pursuing their dreams, those are the chaos agents, And I hope Ava's at peace with her decision. She had a hell of a run. Maybe the door opens back up for her at some point, but everyone else just needs to, be like this on this button on your phone. You know what that button does, Book? It's called silent. Be this button. Just be silent. You know what I mean?
No, man, I get you, bro. I get you. I'm not. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just in a different space in my life, man. People can say, "Oh, maybe he still works for WWE." He's just talking. I don't know. You can say that. You can truly say that. But one thing you're not going to hear me do is crap on these young people. And the thing is, you've heard me give constructive criticism, and I've gotten torn down for that.
You have, yeah.
Right? I've gotten torn down. I've gotten torn down for that, and I'm like, man, I'm just trying to help you here. I'm like, maybe give me a call, and maybe we can talk about it, and maybe I can help you. But I appreciate the ones that do listen to when, it's like Jay Cargill, spoke about her and I doing Zoom, studies. And the thing is, was that something that I had to do? Was it something that she had to do? No, but hey, is it going to hurt? Is it gonna hurt? Maybe I might hear something that I've never heard before, and it might boom, click. It might open my mind up just a little bit. So I appreciate, her for even going out there and saying that, she, work with me, and I'm trying to, help her, get better, because I think that's what at the end of the day it's all about. I talk about the young people that I wish, man, get a chance to go on that journey that I got a chance to go on. I mean, I always talk about my first trip was never been on an airplane before, and I was on my way to Japan, 15 hours, and I had never been out of, state of Texas and Louisiana, and now I'm on a flight going to Japan. I'm like, you got to kidding me, right? Then I come home, and then I go to Korea, and then I come home, and then I go to the Virgin Islands, and I'm like, what the hell is like, what the hell is going on here? So for me, I want so many young people that was perhaps like me. And one of my kids, she's getting a trial, Promise Braxton here with WWE. And she's just like me, someone that just was looking for a pat on the back, someone that tell her how good she is, and she can make it, she can do this. And now she's got the opportunity to go out and prove, how good she is more than anything. And that's all you're looking for is opportunity. I think, so for me, as well as a pat on the back. And being told, hey, you got this at the end of the day. So for me, all of that stuff is just smoke. clicks, clickbait. You know, people was talking about, people was trolling me on social media. Nobody, damn it, ain't nobody trolling me. I'm
No,
serious.
well, yeah, that would be foolish. But like to me, like yes, feedback is great. Like all that. I did want to ask you one of the
Wait,
guys
wait a
that
minute, wait a minute. What do trolling mean?
I mean, trying to get a rise out of you and like
Oh,
talking
okay.
smack,
Well, I haven't responded to anybody, so ain't nobody trolling me. All right,
Hey,
I just want to get that out there. When I saw that, I'm like, that's crazy.
wait, kid, and for people who just tuning in, what Booker said in the first segment, it did happen. You've never talked about the Jera cruise, I don't think publicly. I think other people have told the story, but it was one of my favorite phone calls
You know
I've ever
what? You
received
know
in my
what?
life.
We got 4 minutes left. I'm gonna get this story out right now.
Get the
Okay,
story out.
I want to get it out because I don't want Meltzer to come out and say that never happened. All right, it happened. It happened. What happened was I was sitting in my hotel, my hotel cruise room, you know, on the Jera cruise. Um, and that was right before the pandemic,
Mhm.
kicked off, because we almost got stuck on the boat because so many people around the world got stuck on cruises. And I was on the cruise, my lovely wife, Chavo Guerrero, Eric Bischoff, so many people was on that cruise, that could have some fun with. And like I say, Ric Flair. And Dave Meltzer, he was on it. I had never met. Never met Dave Meltzer before in my life. All these years, I had never met Dave Meltzer, and I was in my room, and my phone rang, and it was Ric Flair, and Rick was like, "Hey Buck, you know what I mean?" He's like, "Hey man, I'm down here, such and such and such and such. Come hang out with me and have a drink." And I was like, "Oh man!" I told Charmel, I was like, "Baby, Ric Flair's calling, and when Rick calls, I'm going." You know what I mean? It's just part of what I do with Rick Claw. He already know what I'm drinking. It's already there waiting on me. It's like that. I swear. It's double checking coke. Yeah. And as I get down to me and Rick, Charmel, it's just us three. We're in this room. We're just chopping it up, talking, laughing, having some fun. And lo and behold, who walks in? Dave Meltzer. He has two people with him. It was a girl and a guy. And he said, "Hey, Rick," and Rick goes, "Hey, Dave," and Dave comes over, and Dave actually takes a seat with us. And I'm like, "Wow, Dave Meltzer," you know what I mean? It was Dave Booker, I was like, "Yeah, Dave Meltzer." And something just came over me at this point, because like I say, this is the first time I ever met Dave Meltzer before. And I go, "Dave Meltzer." I said, "Dave, you've quoted me before, and we've never met. We've never had a conversation. How can you quote someone and you've never had a conversation with them?" I said, and I just got so upset, and I just looked at him and I go, "Man, all these years, I just want to tell you, you're a piece of you know what." I said, "No, you really are. You really are. You really are a piece of you know what." And I got so mad, and I said, "Man, I could rip your ears off right now. I really could. I really could. I could rip your ears off right now." And and then I composed myself. And his friend goes, "Man, I've been in a bad situation before, and I think this is a bad situation. I think we should leave." And I go, "Yeah, Dave, I think you should leave." Dave Meltzer out without saying a word. He never, defended himself, or never said that he didn't do what he did, which was quoted me. And him and I had never had a conversation before. I don't think it's right for a journalist quote
Yeah.
someone, and they've never had a conversation with them before. And he said other negative things as well. And that was the first time I ever had a chance to sit down with him and sit across from him. And I just did not want to miss out on the opportunity. When you get an opportunity, when opportunity knocks, you better answer, because you may never get that opportunity ever again. You know what I mean? But that's all it was. It was just two men airing out grievances. And one man was really, really hot about the grievance, but no bloodshed or anything like that. No, but it just, like I say, when you get an opportunity, you want to look a man in the eye and confront a man eye to eye.
Yeah.
And that's normally the way I do things. I'm old school, very, very old school. Uh, but that was it.
Well, yeah, and this is coming off of him quoting you without ever speaking to you. I think he also alleged the only reason you had a job was because of your skin color. That was in
Yeah,
one of the
yeah,
articles. He also
yeah.
he also said that calling somebody a mark is like using the N word, which is not even close to a similar thing. So
Yeah,
Dave, I don't know. He's got some issues over there. I don't know what it is. It's strange things that he says
well,
sometimes.
I'm sure Dave Meltzer probably didn't have any friends like me. I get that. I get that. But when you say things, there are consequences when you say things, and then feel the urge to sit down with the person that you said all these things about. There should be consequences. You know what I mean? I've never seen a journalist sit down with one of these football players that they've been talking about, in their columns on a weekly basis. I don't think that's a wise thing to do as a journalist. As a journalist, I just don't think that's a wise thing to do. But we got to take a break. You're inside the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Hey guys, this is Brent Gilmore from the Hall of Fame with Booker T. And we talk a lot about trust on this show. Trust in your team, trust in the process, trust in your opponent. And you got to talk about trust in your money. And that's why I use Cash App. I do. I use Cash App. This is true. I use it every single day. It's where I have a card with. It's where I exchange currency with, whether I'm getting a haircut, whether I'm getting, some lawn services, whatever the case might be. I use Cash App because it's fast, it's secure, and it makes handling my money so simple. So whether I'm splitting a dinner bill, splitting money with a friend, checking my balance before a big weekend, it's all right there in the app. So if you download Cash App today and use our referral code, which is SECURE10, for $10 when you sign up. That's SECURE, SECURE, the number 10. Do that. Use that code because Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services are provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards are issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. You visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. So go ahead, hit that download button. Use my code SECURE10 and join the millions of people already using Cash App to make life easier. Trust me, you'll be glad that you did it, okay? SECURE10, SECURE10, SECURE10. And remember, Cash App is a financial services platform. It is not a bank. Banking services are provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards are issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures and use Cash App today. Booker and I use it. You should use it too. Cash App, Cash App. Hey guys, Brad Gilmore here with the Hall of Fame. I want to ask you a quick question, okay? Why is it that life never waits for a payday? Bills don't wait, tires don't wait, gas never waits. You're riding around on E. Well, guess what? Life doesn't happen bi-weekly, and honestly, a payday shouldn't happen bi-weekly either. You already did the work, you already earned the money, so why should it just sit there while you're trying to figure things out? That's where EarnIn comes in, spelled EARNIN, like EarnIn. It's the original earned wage access app that lets you access your pay as you work instead of just waiting days or weeks for a paycheck. And just to be clear, this is your money. This is not a loan. It's not a payday thing. This is access to what you already earned. With EarnIn, you can access $150 a day with a max of $1,000 between pay periods. No interest, no credit cards, no mandatory fees. EarnIn makes money through optional tips and optional fees for features like lightning speed, which can get your money in minutes. But there's always a no-cost option so everyone can just keep things moving. And look, we've all been there. Sometimes it's gas, sometimes it's groceries, sometimes it's a bill that pops up earlier than expected. Other times it's a last minute gift, tickets that you don't want to miss, rent timing, school clothes, or even an unexpected trip to the vet. We know that life happens fast. EarnIn helps millions of Americans take charge of their pay and avoid falling into debt traps by putting their money in their hands when they need it. It's simple. You go download the EarnIn app, add your info, and start accessing pay your way as you work. Any money you access plus any optional tip is automatically repaid from your next paycheck. So there's no stress, there's no awkward waiting, just moving forward. Make EarnIn a part of your financial routine and join over 4 million customers making any day a payday. Download EarnIn today. That's EARNIN That's EARNIN in the Google Play or Apple App Store. When you download EarnIn app, type in Hall of Fame under podcast when you sign up. That's Hall of Fame under podcast. It really, really helps this show. EarnIn is a financial technology company, not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Standard cash outs take 1 to 2 business days with no mandatory fees. Expedited transfers are available for a fee. Tips are voluntary and don't affect the service. Available in select states. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details. Download EarnIn and take control of your pay.
Boom. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. You know, I've been, I don't know, I guess it's just one of these shows. I just had to get a lot of stuff off my chest.
That's okay.
And you know, that the one thing too that has been bugging me is that these guys have literally, created these podcasts to, I don't know, I don't know if it's to kill wrestling, take the joy out of wrestling. I'm trying to figure it out. I mean, because, we have a radio show and it goes to podcasts, but I don't think our radio show or podcast is predicated on damaging the business in any way, shape, form, or fashion, or damaging anyone's careers in any way, shape, or form. I just don't think Hall of Fame is that type of a brand and that type of show. And I just, it really, really irks me. And maybe these guys should think about this. It really, really irks me to see these ex-wrestlers, ex-legends, try to find some of the media's dirt, some of the stupidest things to talk about, and call it news. I'm serious. It really is. It really, truly is silly. Like I say, try to find some of the, like I say, the juiciest talk about someone else. About someone else, not you, not your career, about someone else and what they're doing. I just don't get that. I don't get that at all.
Well, it does venture a guess then to ask you this. There was another viral tweet that kind of went around on X from your buddy Kevin Nash in reference to Javon Evans. I don't know if you saw it, but it kind of sparked the internet a little bit. I think you referred to him as the Bojangles, and he needs to get a little bit more. The word he used was urban. I guess to have a little bit more edge to him was Kevin Nash's advice. People took it one way or another. I don't know what your stance was on it.
Well, I don't, Kevin Nash is, my big homie, but I don't know if Kevin Nash know the tradition of Bojangles and what Bojangles did. Bojangles traveled around sometimes doing minstrel shows. You do know what a minstrel show is, right?
I do, yes.
Okay, and minstrel shows is where the white people dressed up in blackface, and he went around and he did his tap dancing shows to get his tips and tricks. You know what I mean? That's what Bojangles did. Okay, I don't know if Kevin Nash knows this. You know what I mean? Or if he knows the gender, and the lyrics of the song. I know Bojangles from the beginning to the end. From the beginning of the song to the end. I've heard it one of my favorite songs, because it made me feel what Bojangles had to go through. Okay? All right? He spent most of his time, in those county bars. You know what I mean? Having a drink. You know what I mean? He was in jail for a reason. You know what I mean? That's not Javon Evans. Okay? I don't know if Kevin Nash, he said, I read that too, 66-year-old boy from Detroit. I don't know if he know about Tekashi 6ix9ine or Lil Uzi Vert, you know what I mean?
Kevin Nash doesn't know about Tekashi 6ix9ine, but
no, like I say, no, I'm serious. You know what I mean? These Gunna, you know what I mean? These young guys, these YBs. That's what I call them. But that ain't what they call them, out there in the world. You know what I mean? And that's what these young guys like a Javon Evans represents. It's a different era. It really truly is a different era.
Yeah.
And maybe Kevin Nash don't understand, that part of what we are right now in life, with music and that type of music. We ain't listening to Pac and Biggie no more. It ain't like that. You know what I mean? We're in a different world, and someone like Big Kev, he got to understand that. I do understand his point as far as referencing the young OG to someone like 123 Kid, Sean Waltman. And Sean Waltman had that fire in him, that fight in him.
Mm-hmm.
I think Javon Evans has a lot of fight in him. I watched him up close and personal. Do we have to work on certain things a little bit more, perhaps to hone his skill? Kid's 22 years old. He's 22 years old. The business is totally different than it was when Sean got in the game. The guys that Sean was working with and learning from are totally different than the guys, this kid is learning from, and as well as been watching. Totally different. You know what I mean? So I heard Sean Strickland talk about Javon Evans, and he said Javon Evans, probably grew up watching guys like him, and that's true. So you got to figure out how to get rid of those bad habits. You're like I set that
up. Oh, you know what? Swerve deserved that one. He deserved that one.
So that's all. That's all it is. And you're like I set that up, didn't you?
That was good. That was good. Well, and a wrestling historian said this. He said, Kevin Nash has always supported people of color. I don't know if that was in question. I think it was just a reference.
Like I say, I don't think Kevin may have just said that off keel, just saying that, using that word, not really understanding, from from the hood and from the urban area. Bojangles is something that's down and dear to us, and we as Black people look at Bojangles in a certain way. We really do, and that's just not the term to use towards a Javon Evans. And I don't think it was out of any malice or a real intent. I don't think it was out of racial, none of that. Because Kevin Nash is one of my best friends. He really is truly one of my best friends. And I'm glad you brought this up, because perhaps I wouldn't have brought it up and I wanted to.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm glad that we talked about it, because it definitely was making the waves yesterday. We have a couple things before we get out of here today. This is from Loso Dolo, who says, Vic being on the list let me know everything I needed to know. People salty over NXT beating their favorite show. Their favorite show, he's alleging, is AEW.
That is. I mean, I agree 100%. Vic Joseph should not have. They put all WWE guys on there, and then they put Tony Schiavone on there. That's ridiculous. Why was Tony on there? Why would Tony be on there? It's ridiculous. It really is
a ridiculous list. It's the most ridiculous list I've ever seen. Jake from the Windy City says MVP and Netflix getting into MMA will be fascinating. Honestly, UFC is suffering a bit of repetition for me. Looking for something fresh. And D'Angelo Brown says, who you guys got for Ronda or Gina in May? It's actually in May. They announced this morning, Netflix and MVP Promotions announced Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano in May. Which is her return to MMA, both of their returns to MMA, Ronda and Gina. Gina's been acting for quite some time. Ronda's been away. She did wrestling. She did a little bit of acting. I can't remember when her last fight was. It had to be like 2017, 2018, something like that.
Yeah.
When she fought Amanda. So it's been quite a while for her. What do you think about this? Here's the thing. First off, I want to say shout out to Netflix MVP for pulling this off. This is a huge coup for them, coming off of doing Canelo and Crawford last year. Now they're getting into an MMA thing. They had Jake and Anthony Joshua at the end of last year. They're continuing their train, MVP and Netflix, of making must-see fights from the boxing game and now from the MMA world. Now, the fight itself, I mean, it's cool for an old school MMA fan like me because this kind of gives me flashbacks to when women first started kind of bubbling up in MMA. I don't know how great the fight will be, but they can be good, great once, right, Book? But what do you think about it? What do you think about it?
How old is Ronda now?
Let me look that up. She's got to be nearing that 4-0.
Yeah, how old is Ronda? Because that's the question for me more than anything. How old is Ronda Rousey right now?
She just turned 39.
Don't nobody want to see 39-year-old Ronda Rousey.
Well, people are going to watch the fight. People are watching this fight.
People are going to watch it. It's a gimmick fight. It's a gimmick fight more than anything, but I'm not going to sit here and try to talk this up and make it sound like it's going to be like something great or anything like that. Yeah. Ronda Rousey, her last fight was the best fight for me against Amanda Nunes. Okay, that was the best fight for me. As for
she got mollywopped.
Exactly my point. No, but what I'm saying is it showed her coming back fighting against real competition, somebody that's at the top level of their game. Gina Carano been acting. She hadn't had a fight since 2018, 2017, 2019. It had to be somewhere that long ago. So to see, and Gina Carano, 40 years old as well? What do I want to see this for?
Gina Carano is first off. Gina Carano is 43, and
exactly my point.
She last
43
fought.
Years old.
She last fought Chris Cyborg in 2009.
2009. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is beyond ridiculous. And I'm not going to sit here and try to support it in any way. They both gonna fall out from exhaustion. Okay, they can knock each other out. You know what I mean? The way this fight can go. I'm not gonna pay money to see that. That's ridiculous.
Look, so 2009 for Gina Carano. She's 43 years of age. Ronda Rousey's 39. Her last fight was in 2016, so almost a decade ago.
What? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Is it more ridiculous than Floyd and Mike gonna fight in the Congo?
Look here. I'm not gonna co-sign on that either. I'm not gonna sit here and co-sign. It's not just because they're women, at that age. I'm not gonna co-sign on men at that age either. Come on, bro. This is ridiculous.
Look, it's a coup for Netflix and MVP to get Ronda Rousey's return fight over the UFC. Her and Gina Carano, we'll see what they can do.
Look here, I'm gonna tell you right now.
It's gonna be an entertaining show.
This one right here, I think this is gonna be the first flop. Netflix try to pull off. It's gonna be the first flop.
I think there's going to be so much media attention around Ronda fighting again that it's going to do well numbers-wise. Numbers-wise, it's going to do well.
Yeah. What Ronda are we going to see? Are we going to see a Ronda that's happy to be back, or the same rowdy Ronda Rousey with that attitude? And the thing is, either one of them is not going to be good.
Well, we'll see. I'm wanting it to be great. I want it to be great. You know what? Because Ronda, look, here's the thing. I want to say this about Ronda before we wrap up. Ronda, in recent years, maybe has not ingratiated herself to the wrestling fan base or even the MMA fans for that matter. But make no mistake about it, Ronda Rousey is a legend of her time.
She is. I'm not taking that away from her. I'm not taking that away from her. But I'm just you know what? Maybe I should draw back some of this pen. I mean, because maybe a lot of the way I'm feeling right now is because of the way she treated, professional wrestling. Yeah, maybe that's it.
No, I'm with you on that. And I don't love the things that she said about the fan base or anything. But to me, like, Ronda's a GOAT in her time period. And what you're meaning with Amanda Nunes, like by the time she fought Nunes in 2016, like the women's division had progressed past the skill set of Ronda Rousey. But when she was there to start things out, man, she was the best there was for a long time until she ran into that Holly Holm.
Yeah, no doubt. No. I mean, it's going to be intriguing. Let's just say that. But I'm not putting it over. It's not going to be something. It's not going to be great. It's not going to be a great fight. Look, man, at 40 years old, you're nowhere near, your prime. You're not going to be able to go out there and recreate that magic. Ronda Rousey, she just had a baby not too long ago, and she hadn't been. She just started training, but training and being in fight shape is two different things. It's two totally different things. in front of that camera. It catches everything, every ripple, every wrinkle, catches everything. So I'm gonna tell you right now, so you better be ready. I don't want to say too much. Don't want the women out there to get on top of me. Yeah.
You don't? No.
At least not without some blue chew.
We gotta go. We gotta get out of here.
We gotta get.
We got to go.
Hey man, thank everybody for stepping inside the Hall of Fame. Get your champagne wishes, caviar trees, man. Brad for all the heavy lifters always. Till next time, guys. We got to get up out of here. Peace. We love you, and we out.